One, two, three, One, two, three. The Bear Trap Podcast. Here we like to talk about music, news, and entertainment. But most importantly,
What is up? What is up?
we like
What
to
is
talk
up?
about life. So
We are
get
back.
yourself ready, let's talk
I am
about
back.
it.
I say we am back all
Let's
the time,
talk
like it's somebody
about
with
it.
me.
Get yourself
Ha! Where they at? Where they at? Nah, but I'm back, man. I missed y'all. It's been a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? But I'm back on it. You know what I mean? A little rough. A little scruffy right now. But, we got to make it happen. We got to continue to press on, continue to do the things we need to do to keep the ball rolling. You feel me? Today, I'm going to get right into the topic. I ain't going to do a whole lot of, chatting, but we're going to talk. We're going to get into it, man. Today's topic is the power of yes. Noise. The power of yes. When you say yes. Sound simple. Sound easy enough. You know what I'm saying? But think about it. I thought about it. And it didn't, to me, it sounded like something that was worthy of a conversation. So, that's why we're talking about it. So think about when you say yes, the things you say yes to. Specifically for yourself. We ain't talking about helping somebody or this, that, and the third. We're talking about just specifically you when you say yes. Like to something that's pertaining to you. Like yes. That's what this is about. Yes has a lot attached to it, especially when it comes to you. Like I said, yes, I'm doing a podcast and I'm going to do a podcast. Yes. And, the rest of it that was attached to it is consistency, quality content, learning some of the software, learning how to use the stuff. The yeses were, I said yes to a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, how do I keep my word to myself? When it comes to the things that I say that I do or that I say that I want to do. It's to me, it feel like if I just remember what I said yes to, then all the rest of the stuff that come with it is just extra. It's just, it don't matter. I already said yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so in my mind, if I put it together before I say yes, and I understand, it's like looking at the work before you take on the job, basically. And so there's two parts to it. There's probably more parts. I'm not a guru. I say that every show. It's just the way I see things. That's why I did a podcast, so I could just speak my mind. You know what I'm saying? But the other part to saying yes is not saying no. Saying yes, but meaning no. That's the thing. When you say yes, your yes got to be yes and your no got to be no. That's hard. That's hard to do. Because the moment you say yes is the moment the universe throws a monkey wrench at you and wants to verify that you mean yes and you don't actually mean no. You feel what I'm saying? So it's very, very important to be mindful of when we say yes. Be mindful. Like I said, yeah. I was going to go to the gym. I was going to eat better. And so all the rest of the stuff that comes with that, it's blanketed. It's umbrella. That's all part of the yes. Because you don't want to be going to the gym and still eating a whole bunch of hamburgers. Or you don't want to be, doing things that are counterintuitive to where you could have just skipped the whole thing and just been right at the same spot without the headaches or the, lying to yourself and stuff like that. So everybody like, man, you need to do this, you need to do that. In my head, I'm like, and they looking at me like, you stubborn. I haven't made my mind up on that. So I didn't actually say yes. The older I get, the more I practice meaning what I say to myself. Like, I already know I'm not doing that. Not to be, stubborn or hard headed about things, that are good for me. It's just when you make your mind up and you make a decision about what you're going to do, that's an actual decision, that don't want to break. And you're going to do everything in your power not to break your decision that you made. So it's important, to be a man of standard or a woman of standard. It's important to have a spine, have a backbone when it comes to the things you say that you're going to do. It's very, very important. It's very important. That comes with showing up. That comes with paying back when it's time to pay back. That comes with a whole bunch of stuff. A little gnats and stuff flying around here. That comes with eating a bunch of fruit. Gnats. Them gnats come out of everywhere, man. I swear. As soon as you start cutting up fruit, eating fruit, here come the gnats. But that's besides the point. But yeah, but it's all based on like holding your word, keeping your word, because you said yeah. And I come to find out that you can't say yes and no at the same time, right? I'm just making that easy and plain. Everybody knows that, right? But we try it all the time. You can't say yes with your mouth and no with your actions. You can't say yes with your professing your faith and talking and then no with your actions. That don't go together. It don't work. You just, at that point, you wasting your time and you're lying to yourself and you're lying to the people that believe in you. So we don't want to do that. We don't even want to get in the habit of, doing that. So you'll be better off just telling somebody no. Or you'll be better off really zeroing in on the things that you really do want to do and do those things. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then whoever get their feelings hurt behind you just doing exactly what you want to do in regards to you, then, they was going to get their feelings hurt anyway, because, we don't want to be people pleasers. We don't want that. We're here to do, what it is that we came here to do, whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? As far as our life and our goals and our dreams and stuff. So really, really take a look at it, man, because it's very simple. If I say I'm going to take my kids to the park, in my mind, even before I tell them, I already know they're going to be fighting in the car. It's a possibility that they're going to fight in the car. It's a possibility they're going to get to the park, walk around for 5 minutes and want to get back in the car. There's a possibility they're going to want to stop the ice cream truck. Or they're going to want to go to In-N-Out or after. Or they're going to want me to jump in the basketball game. It's a whole lot of different variables that we ain't even calculated yet. But when I say yes, that's saying like whatever may come, we'll deal with it at that time. But my answer is yes. We're going to the park. And yes, if y'all get thirsty, we go to the store. If y'all want something to eat, if it's within means, we can do that too. But it's based on me, keeping my word, to myself. It's, you got to keep your word to yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Sidebar, the show. If you made it to the show, thank you for coming. It was awesome. It was a beautiful, beautiful vibe. If you don't know what show I'm talking about the Issa Showcase that happened, that I was promoting, and a part of it happened last week at the Country Club, off a Country Club at Center Stage Restaurant Event Center. And it was awesome, man. It was so many beautiful faces. It was so many people out, that I seen that I hadn't seen in a long time. And the R&B vibes was R&B vibing. It was awesome. It was a few things that happened that were beautiful, man. You got to see it in real life, see people perform, got to see people actually going after their dreams and doing their thing. Like, and that's rare, that's rare. We give up and just end up, just be at work and we just work, take care of kids. That's all we do. We might go on vacation or do a few things, but that's here or there. But for the ultimately, um, I'm grateful, that I had a chance to participate. Some different things was happening, with me at that time. So I had to leave. I ended up leaving. So I apologize, to Issa and to all the people that were involved. And some of my fans, some of my friends that came that wanted to see me perform. I had a lot going on. I had more going on than everybody's seen. And so I showed up. I mean, it killed me that I couldn't perform. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't no fault to Issa, or to Nikki, or to nobody that was, doing the thing. I talked to them already. And, I let them know I had a few things going on and I apologize. Hopefully I'll be able to relink and do something with them in the future. But yeah, that was on me. So sorry to all my fans and all my family and people that came. I just, life be lifing. But I made a choice, I made a choice to go. And I kept my word. I was there. I didn't get to perform, so that killed me, but I definitely support it still. Nothing negative happened with me there. I didn't have a run-in with somebody. None of that stuff happened with me. You know what I'm saying? As far as I seen while I was there, it was a great vibes. It was great vibes. You know what I'm saying? It was a little ruffles, but it was great vibes, all together. People had a great time. You know what I mean? Drinks was flowing. Food was on point. Everything was what it was supposed to be, man. And I appreciate the event. Appreciate the opportunity to be even included, in these types of events. But that comes with yeah. When you say yeah, all those artists said yeah. They showed up and they showed out. They did an awesome job. You know what I'm saying? I got to see the majority of the artists, perform, and they did great. They did great. You know what I mean? And y'all stay tuned in with Issa. You know what I'm saying? Because she got a few things, up her sleeve. She's doing a few shows. Some of the other artists got shows and stuff coming up too. So don't let them go. Still follow them. Still get on their page. Still like their comments and stuff like that. Still support. Say yes to that, and then actually follow it. With your actions. You know what I'm saying? When you click like, you know what I mean, and click share. All that stuff is free. You don't even have to leave your phone. Like, share. You know what I mean? And that's free. That helps them promote and do what they're doing with their music. It helps me. Like, same thing like with my channel. Like you watching it right now. 1 second. Like, subscribe. Share. If you want to go to the max, share it. You know what I mean? But this talk today was mainly about saying yes. I got a little on a tangent. I had to recap. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute since I've been on here. So, I'm just dusting it back off and getting back on the horse. Because sometimes that horse will buck you off that thing, man. You got to dust yourself off and get back on the horse, especially if you said yes, And so, this is an exercise for me. This is an exercise in saying yes, Don't matter what happened in between now and the last episode. All that matters is there is a next episode. All that matters is you keep pulling up. You keep showing up. The only people that don't win is the people that quit. Those are the only people that lose. Is the people that quit. Period. So you may not get there as fast as everybody. You may not have the same fanfare. My videos, I don't have a whole lot of views on my videos, but I love what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And I said yes. I feel like, some of the wisdom and knowledge that I share is valuable. It's valuable to me. You know what I mean? And it possibly could be valuable to somebody else. So I ain't gonna make this one that long, but think about what you're doing, y'all. Like when you say yeah, mean yeah. Follow it through. You know what I'm saying? Don't be lukewarm. You know what I mean? Be all the way hot or be all the way cold. That's what it is. Like, save yourself the time, the misery, and the headache. And when you dedicate to something, really dedicate to it. Regardless, because don't be naive. Some nonsense gonna happen in between times. Like, don't be like, oh, this is happening, oh, that's happening. You got to be like, I already knew some nonsense was gonna come in at some point, right? So it's like, let's not be naive and let's be, let's understand what we're doing. Like, I already know it's gonna be some, like, even right now, before I start filming this, camera start tweaking, the program start acting up, everything start doing what they wanted to do. Got gnat flying around, all this different kind of stuff. I don't care. You know why? Because I'm pressing forward. I'm pressing forward, man. There ain't no other way to get there except straight through it. Don't run from it, run to it so you can run through it. And I'm speaking to myself. I'm not even really fully trying to be no motivational kind of speaker. You know what I mean? But the words that I say have to reverberate back to me. I'm listening to myself talk. Let the higher power channel through me to feed me, and I just bring y'all in on it. I bring y'all in on these conversations and stuff. And it's like, it ain't gonna all be peaches and cream. It's definitely gonna be some static in the middle, in between channels. It's gonna be some static, in the valley. It ain't all mountaintops and looking good and beautiful. See this beard? It's rough. I went to work today. You understand what I'm saying? I did some regular stuff. I'm a regular dude and I got regular responsibilities. These lights on, this computer, these cameras, all this stuff got to be maintenance. It had to, I had to acquire it, some way, shape, and form. You know what I mean? And, it don't just come together just because you think that I'm a superstar. Just like, a lot of people waiting on a lot of music from me right now. And I do have some music, I do. But, I do have standards also that I hold myself to. And when I'm doing music, I do it. You know what I mean? I can't pity pat and just throw anything out. I really, put my heart and my effort and I put my best foot forward when I'm doing my music. When I'm doing 90% of everything I do, I put my best foot forward. I'm washing my car, I wash it. When I wash my clothes, I wash them. And I fold them and I put them up. Like, that's just, it's not that I'm just some guy. I'm practicing, man. I'm practicing at this. I want to get better and better every day with it. That's what we do with life. We just, and it all starts with, saying yes and meaning your yes. If you was wishy-washy, then your whole life is wishy-washy. Nobody can depend on you because why? Because he wishy-washy. He don't know. They don't know. What if I was an investor and I wanted to invest in you, but you don't know? Like, well, then my money don't know. My effort or my time and my focus don't know. You know what I mean? And you get into that. Like, these small concepts make a big difference for you in your life when it counts. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen it. If you on point, and it's a lot of people watching me that's not commenting, that's not saying nothing, and they just waiting on me to fall off, waiting on me to just disappear into the sunset. I do that a lot. I enjoy disappearing into the sunset because I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. Like, God proved a lot to me already. Let me say that again. God proved a lot to me already. He proved a lot to y'all too in y'all lives. Like, you know what I'm saying? Real talk. Like, you can't tell me, coming from where I come from and, the different obstacles that were placed in front of me that I'm still working through, the different, life changes and things that's transpired. God showed me a whole bunch of stuff, man. And it's like, it still requires a yes, though. We'll throw that in there since that's what we talk about. It requires me to say yes. Yes, I will. Yes, I can. No, I'm not afraid. Yes, I'll continue. Yes, I'll get back in the studio. Yes, I'll turn the computer on and do another podcast. Yes. Why say no? I got everything to gain and nothing to lose. At this point, I got everything to gain and nothing to lose. The only people that lose is people that quit. I don't feel like quitting. You understand what I'm saying? And this is a competition. It's competitive out here in these streets, in this world. So you got to bring your A game. Bring your A game. You understand what I'm saying? Because you bring your B game, you might get mollywopped off the court. Bring your A game, man. Step. Step with your, put your best foot forward. And so even at work, at those menial tasks at work and this monotonous, homogenized life that we be living and going, back and forth. Put your best foot forward. Play the best music you can play in the morning on the way to work. Make your desk, arrange your desk the best way. Clean your area up. If you're working in a warehouse, clean it up. Make it nice. Put a sticker on the wall next to the machine, wherever you stacking in boxes, and make it cool. Make it, make it your own. Not because you some super worker or because you're getting comfortable in a transitional place. It's just because you're comfortable wherever you go. You're gonna make it the best that it can be. You're gonna do your job to the optimal degree, for sure. Be that kind of person. When you take the job, yes. When you say yes and take the job, do the job. But raise the bar. If you're a person that can raise the bar, raise it. Why not? I do it at my job all the time. I raise the bar all the time. And you'll be surprised to know how many people appreciate that. They appreciate working with a quality person that got their back. For real, for real. I try my best not to let none of my coworkers fail. Not because I'm a supervisor or not because I'm got a cape on my back or something like that. No, we just in it together, man. We all don't want to be there. But since we're here, we're going to eat. we're gonna laugh. And we're going to have a great time because you spend a lot of time at work. And the only reason why that is because I said yes. I'm going to be who I am wherever I go. That was a choice. And I'm going to throw it on wherever I can, whenever I can. I be looking like a spectacle sometimes. I wear my cowboy hat to work sometimes. I might come with a wild shirt on. I might, sometimes I'm a spectacle. But, you got to give them something to see if they feel like looking. I'd like to stay out of grown folks' business. But at the same time, while you're looking, like a looker, you feel me? Pop you some popcorn. The movie finna start. You know what I mean? Just like that. And if you feel like I'm a movie star, maybe I am. You feel what I'm saying? But let me stop that nonsense. And I implore you guys to be mindful when you say yes, so that your yes can actually align, with your actions. I appreciate you guys. This is your boy Bear. This has been the Bear Trap Podcast, live on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else you want to see it at. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. And till the next episode.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The Bear Trap Podcast. Here we like to talk about music, news, and entertainment. But most importantly, we like to talk about life. So get yourself ready, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.